Hello, hello. Welcome back to today's episode of The Big Show, where we explore the profound impacts that fathers have on their kids' life. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into what children remember about their fathers the most. The memories, the lessons, the lasting imprint fathers leave on their children, and all the above. We'll also discuss why fathers are crucial to a child's development. We'll talk about some stats backing up those claims and some expert insight. Plus, stick around for some heartwarming stories of fathers from all around the world and a special final thoughts segment that kind of ties it all together. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, of course, the show would never be as great as The Big Show is without the man, the myth, the legend, my co-host and father himself. You guys know him and love him. Our good friend, Dwayne Ward. Dwayne, how are you, my good friend? It's been a week. Good to see you.
Doing great. I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or like the Brady Bunch, like the dysfunctional Brady Bunch. I know. Yeah, we're looking around what's going on here. But yeah.
So today,
new folks on.
Yeah, we do. And today is actually a monumental day, and a day that's kind of close to my heart a little bit also for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is the first time that the Big Show podcast has ever had 4 people on live at the same time.
This is your first 4-way?
That's disgusting and disturbing. They're disgusting.
Okay.
And disturbing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We all have stories. All right.
Yeah. See, the bad part about going live is that when those comments come, I can't edit them out. So the whole world just has to hear how disgusting and disturbing you really are.
Yeah. Actually, Esteban, your mic is not turned on, so the software version of it. Yeah, there you go. As much as I can do that to my wife, just turn the mute on. I just it didn't feel right for some reason.
I tell you, whoever can design a volume for women will become a billionaire because I will be one of the first.
Click. Anyway, so I've been married 3 times.
And also one of the reasons why this show is actually special to my heart is because a good friend of mine, a friend that I've been friends with for probably as long as one of my first friends ever, my good buddy, Jason Smith. Jason down there. Jason, welcome to the show. How are you? Thank you for coming on. We've been talking about you coming on the show for quite some time, so I really do appreciate you coming on.
All right. Well, I hope you didn't set the bar too high. I'll do my best.
and then if you guys are avid watchers of the Big Show, you probably remember this last guy because he's been on a couple times. You know him, you love him. Fitness expert and guru Esteban Lutz. Welcome back, Esteban. How are you?
I love being here, man. It's I know I'm going to be entertained, so this is going to be great.
Yeah, if anything, you guys can get a good hour to hour and a half of just laughing and good entertainment. And guys across the world love to tune in because it's a show about guys. We can just talk and just have a good time and express how we feel and talk about things that we like and not like and all those things. But it's good to have you guys on because today's topic, I really need the 3 of you because this topic is really about fathers. And since I personally am not a father, it's really hard for me to talk to a lot of the experiences that you guys have gone through. So I really wanted to bring on you guys so that way you guys could actually talk to your experience being a father. So thank you guys for showing up today. Dwayne, do you have something you want to add?
Yeah, well, I had a kind of a question. So that's fine. You've known Jimmy for a long time, right?
Back we're over 20 years now. Yeah,
20 years. Okay, did you guys go to school together?
No, we didn't.
By chance? Okay, so but Jason, you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think was it middle school or maybe even grade school?
I think we met in 93, 4, something like that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. Something like that.
So here's the deal. I was a little unsure about coming on the show after what I've seen, but I found a news article, and I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to play it.
I'm very nervous. Jason, this is what I worry. This is the bad part about going live right now.
This is why I love coming on to this show.
What is about to
happen? I have no idea what's about to happen.
And again,
what did you do?
I want you guys to watch this, and this may change your opinion of Jimmy. I don't know.
Oh my God, it's about me.
Here we go.
This is wonderful.
We just started silent reading when I heard the awful sound. It was so bad we had to leave the classroom.
I was just sitting in here reading, and then we heard the big one. And everybody started laughing because it was so funny. But then Johnny passed out, and everybody had a hard time breathing.
Local hazmat crews were on site today to make sure that the classroom was cleaned up and it can be reused again. School officials stated that the student, whose name they declined to release, was suspended and further action may be taken pending an investigation.
I'm going to tell you who it was. It was Jimmy Smith. That motherfucker, he crop dusted everybody in that damn room.
We got lucky today that no one was seriously injured during today's incident.
Is that my face on a big fat dude? Is that my face on a big fat dude? Of course it is. Of course it is.
Dwayne, that was awesome.
I just wanted Jim. I mean, do you have anything to say for yourself?
I do. This public humiliation is just blasphemy right now. Okay. It's blasphemy.
I think you need to atone for your sins. That those children, you have to think of the children. But
yeah, well, if anyone was nominated anything in high school, you, my friend, would be nominated most likely to fart and evacuate the entire school. That would be something you would be nominated for.
There are stories, legendary stories, legendary.
I would be nominated for class clown or trying to pick up chicks or something. Actually, that would probably be Jason, to be honest. And I don't know. Esteban's all godly and sweet and innocent now, but I bet back in the day that dude was. You just know Esteban's got some stories that he'll never ever tell.
That's part of my fatherhood stuff. It's like for my son not to walk the same paths that I do.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Okay, show of hands. Who's done the pull my finger?
Only once or twice or 500 times.
There we go. All right.
We are men, so of course we do the pull my finger thing, and we've all crop dusted. I mean, you're not a man unless you crop dust.
Not with my wife. So I'm like, I choose not to kill her. So previous relationships, hence why they're previous relationships, and not a current relationship.
Okay, all right. And you eat healthy, so your farts must be just
it's like a rose. Like you're like, is there lavender in the air? And it's totally lavender. What it is.
So I see our good friend Michael Keller is back on after having a week or two hiatus. I actually, whenever I don't see Mike on the show in the comment section, I get nervous. So I actually emailed him. I was like, "Hey, dude, where are you?" So he's back to insulting me. Jason Esteban kind of already knows, but Jason, in case you don't know, I basically thought I was setting up a podcast to help people navigate life a little better, but little did I know I just set up a podcast to have Dwayne and everyone else in the comment section just insult and berate me the entire time for like an hour. That's pretty much all this podcast is. I try to be serious, and then people in the comment section, my guests and even my co-hosts, they all just basically do this to me for an hour and a half. So that's where we're at.
Well, the universe has a funny way of turning on you sometimes.
It does. But and then Jason, you probably. I know you know her, but you haven't seen her in a long time. Looks like my mom's on.
Yeah, Smith.
So yeah, now of course, don't let that stop you from just treating me like shit. Of course, because my mom gets
in front of your mother. What kind of guy do you think me as?
My mom haven't seen you in a while. She's like,
she'll be fine.
My mom didn't even recognize you at first because you have this long beard. You look like a cross between Santa Claus and who knows what, but and then Dwayne with his fake beard.
A little Duck Dynasty snuck in there.
Yeah. So on this side of the screen you got Jimmy and Esteban, clean shaven, tight and right. On that side you got the rejects from ZZ Top on that side.
There's a little something for everybody in here.
Correct.
Yeah, Wait, do you want us to look like you? Hold on a second. This is let me find the right one here. There we go. Hey, I'm Jimmy's twin, at least in personality.
Yeah. See, that's how I would look if I had hair and a beard. I'd look like a Chad, wannabe drinking soy at Starbucks.
Right.
But Dwayne
did hit the lottery with the hair.
So question for you, Dwayne.
Okay.
Does Jason look familiar to you?
He kind of does. I'm trying to remember where exactly, but
you've never met him. You legitimately never met him.
Yeah, never met him. But I'm trying to remember there a picture or something that I don't know.
For all of you out there who have been watching this show for quite some time, do you guys remember episode somewhere in the 50s? I think we're on episode 73 now, when Dwayne and I did the host versus host challenge. It's one of my personal favorite episodes, and Dwayne and I believe that's the episode where we had pulled up random questions from the internet, and then Dwayne and I answered these questions. And one of the questions was, what is one of your secret talents or something? And I went on for the first time, as embarrassing as it was for me to admit, considering all the vultures like Michael Keller in the comments section to admit, but I admitted that I was in a boy band. You remember that, Dwayne?
I do remember that, Nate. Wait a second. Hold on.
Is it starting to come to you?
I think it's starting to come together now. Do you have any photographic evidence?
I give you Jason Smith from Fourth Wish. That is the Jason Smith from my boy band Fourth Wish way back in the day. All sweet and innocent.
Oh my.
Yep. Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh my.
Yeah. Jason, put your little spectacles on so you can see yourself back when you're like 18 years old.
Jimmy was still 6'7" at 18.
There's Jason, looking all smooth with his glasses on. Jason, remember that day when because no R&B group is, of course, an R&B group unless you're wearing glasses at nighttime, staring off into nowhere.
Made total sense back then.
Back then it did. Yeah.
You're always angry. You're angry in all your pictures.
Jason, back then you had like Terminator 2 ears, that the liquid guy Terminator, your ears kind of look like this.
The beard kind of fades it out.
Yeah, your ears have kind of like grown normal now, but back then,
and my face grew in.
Yeah. So
God,
so that's that. I am very happy to have you on, Jason. It's good to see you. After
I'm glad to be here, Jimmy. Thanks for inviting me.
I want to hear them go off
Hector in heaven.
So what was your number one song? What was your favorite one?
Well, we
Silence.
We did a lot of covers. We did a lot of covers because we didn't really have any of our own songs.
Exclusively covers. Yeah.
So what was more popular, the New Kids or the Backstreet Boys? Because that was that era back then.
Yeah, well,
they went back to the Monkees.
Yeah, well, I guess Backstreet. Well, New Kids were out, but Backstreet Boys came in around, I think, the late.
We did a lot of Boys to Men. We did covers.
They were serious. They were serious doing Boys to Men.
Yeah, we did a lot.
We
Shy.
And
Can you do a duet real quick?
No, we're not gonna. We didn't come on here to. Listen, I didn't come in here to bury myself for good. Okay.
Red leather, yellow leather. Warm it up. Red leather, yellow leather.
But looks like Michael has a question for Jason. Michael's question to Jason is: Do you have more hair than Jimmy, aside facial hair? That is, Mike's from Switzerland, so he's not quite.
Oh
yeah, and he ain't
I am
good.
tight there.
Yeah. I saw it on the top.
Keep the hat on.
Yeah. And this American Mutt wants to know if our favorite songs were some 41.
Some 41.
And then Dwayne, look who finally showed his face. Look
Jeremy B. Hold on, let's all wait. Where's the? He's got this sexy beard. I gotta find the right one here to.
Yeah. Can you put on the Jeremy B emoji beard for us, Dwayne? There it is.
There we go. There's
the Jeremy B beard.
This is the beard right here.
Yeah, and then we got Joy trying to bait us into singing. And Sergio says, "I hope my son always remember me fighting for him when his mom wanted to take him away from me." Yeah, we're gonna definitely get into a lot of that, Sergio. Unfortunately, that's a lot of what guys have to go through today. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about what children really do remember about their fathers. And there's some fathers out there where their kids look back on it and the memory isn't really all that fond. I'll give you an example. Like, I don't have really any memories of my father. And what I know of Jason, Jason grew up to be in a similar household where Jason didn't know his father at all. And if I remember correct, Jason, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never met your father either.
No, never.
And your mother, whenever you ask about your father, she's pretty elusive, if I remember right.
She's got no info for me. She's got amnesia all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
we don't really know if your father, wanted to be in your life or he didn't want to be in your life. You really got no info.
She did tell me stories where he wanted to pay for an abortion. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So he didn't want me, according to her. Right?
According to her, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I have spoken to many men who got their girlfriends pregnant, and I'm not talking about Jason's father in particular, but just a lot of men who have gotten their girlfriends
pregnant. He was a married man, by the way.
Oh, he was. Okay.
He was married, and my mom was the side chick.
I see.
Oh my.
So
that was off to a bad start from day one.
Yeah. So the motive behind that comment was probably so he doesn't wreck his own home, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, man, because you're a great dude, and he would have been real proud of you, I think.
I appreciate that.
And you became a pretty damn good dad yourself. So
I try.
But
we do the best we can with what we got, right?
Yeah, and that's all you can, man. And you and I grew up in a we grew up in the same area. Very similar circumstances. Both of our last names is Smith.
Both have brothers, Chris.
We both have younger brothers named Chris Smith. Both of us.
Yeah, we're black sheep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities there. And there's a lot of guys who tune into the Dad Talk Today channel. A lot of guys who tune into the Big Show channel, and they're trying to better themselves. They're trying to become better humans, trying to become better fathers, trying to become sometimes better husbands. Sometimes they're divorced and they're out there on the dating scene. They're just trying to attract and acquire a woman that's better than what they've been attracting. So they're just trying to level themselves up. And, today's episode, I was giving it a lot of thought, and I really wanted to remind men, I suppose, how important what they do and what they say and how they move is going to be to their children whenever their children get older, because we're going to leave a legacy, and what our children remember of us, whether it's good or bad, that story will be written. And what impact fathers really have on, everything from your personal household to society. Fathers are more than just co-parents. They play an essential role in a child's growth and development. And studies show that children with involved fathers are more likely to succeed academically, where they have healthier relationships growing up, and they avoid entering into risky behaviors. In fact, according to research done by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, children who grow up with a father figure in their lives are 40% more likely to earn better grades in school and 70% less likely to drop out of high school. But why is this? Well, it's the influence. A father's influence is extremely unique. Fathers tend to engage in more rough and tumble play. They're a little more of a risk taker, and it helps children develop confidence and resilience and problem solving skills. And they also tend to emphasize rules and structures, because that's what guys do. They protect. They have structure. They have order. They have discipline. Right. They work with their kids on problem solving. They balance the nurturing style that mothers typically will exude. And it's this mix of discipline with affection that helps children grow into well-rounded adults. Now, fathers and mothers, as you guys know, they bring completely different approaches to parenting. Mothers tend to focus more on nurturing and emotional support, while fathers tend to encourage risk-taking and independence and resilience. And the difference in approach isn't just anecdotal, it's supported by research. Studies have actually shown that fathers are more likely to use a challenge and encourage method, which helps kids push boundaries and develop autonomy. For example, dads who play rougher, it teaches kids how to regulate their emotions during excitement. Meanwhile, moms might provide comfort and security, which is also necessary, equally necessary, but just in a different way. Both styles are needed for balance of emotional development. And whenever you look at households without fathers to teach and regulate emotions during excitement or during hard times, what do we see in society? What we see is the society that we live in now, where over the last 30 years, especially, more and more households are being raised by single mothers. And
26%.
What is it?
26% in the United States. We are the world's best single mom raised country in the world. 26%.
You know, I'm
go.
Yeah, that's not exactly something we want to be first in, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
So, you know, children benefit when they have both influences in their lives. According to the Journal of Family Psychology, they did a study, and the children with actively involved fathers exhibited fewer behavioral problems and have higher levels of self-discipline and self-confidence. And in contrast, children raised in father-absent homes are four times more likely to experience poverty, behavioral issues, and poor academic performance. And Dwayne is the author and creator, as you guys know.
Something just went a little nutty.
We had some semi-truck drive by.
Okay, all right. I thought I accidentally passed gas again or something.
One of you guys had a semi-truck or a rocket go by.
Yeah,
yeah, something. But, you know, for those of you who are not all too familiar with Dwayne Ward himself, Dwayne is the creator and author of the website Pissed Off Parent. And they also, Pissed Off Parent also has an app that's available on Android and Apple. And it's a free app that gives men a lot of great resources if they're going through the divorce machine, a lot of great, you know, laws that are trying to be in place, laws that are already in place. And he has a ton of stats on this very subject.
Yeah.
Dwayne, do you have any off the top of your head that you can think of when it comes to like fathers when they're not around? What tends to happen with kids?
Oh gosh. Let's see, for the daughters that are raised without their fathers, sexual promiscuity goes through the roof. The medication, kids are on antidepressants at an earlier age and more, or an increased amount. Their grades suck. They're usually in poverty. They act out. They have lots of issues. They earn less over their lifetime. God, the list goes on and on for when fathers aren't involved. Actually, I think the number is sitting around 70% of for adults that are sitting in jail for grape. Again, that's that special word we have to use on the social media channels. 70% of them said that they did not have their father in their life.
Yeah.
So that increased aggression. And, you know, when you were talking earlier about, you know, with dads roughhousing with their kids, that teaches them to control their emotions and teaches them how to respect other people, and how to keep that inner tiger inside them instead of acting out all the time. And as they get older, if they don't have their father to teach them that, the percentages are scary of how many people commit crimes, aggravated assaults against women, that all those bad things. I mean, they all come from fatherless homes.
Fathers just don't impact their children. They also impact society as a whole. The stats show that children with engaged fathers are less likely to end up in the criminal justice system or experience substance abuse. According to the National Center for Fathering, 85% of youths in prison, to his point, come from a house without fathers. Children with involved fathers are more likely to become productive members of society, contributing through stable jobs, healthy relationships, and even their own future parenting. And the data, guys, just speaks for itself. Children with present fathers are 39% more likely to earn A's in school, 45% more likely to enjoy high levels of emotional well-being, 70% less likely to become teen parents.
Oh, yeah.
And these stats, they clearly show how powerful the role of fathers are, and not just in families, but also to shaping the future of communities and societies at large.
Well, on the Piss Off Parent app page, whichever you want to go to, there is a study that was done a few years ago that the impact, and this is the United States, but the impact is over, I think it's 11 billion. I think it's 11 billion. No, it's either 1 or 11. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have to look at the document again, but it's in the B's of the cost to America through taxes, other programs, jails, and other programs for the fatherlessness problem that we have. And unfortunately, we've got a judiciary and a legislature that's Mr. Magoo or Stevie Wonder for the younger crowd out there, that they don't see it because they're all about getting that money in. But yeah, having a father in the house. I mean, we've got, again, on the website, 50, 60 years worth of peer-reviewed data that shows having a father actively in the life of a child is the best thing. The best thing for a child is a two-parent home. And then the stats kind of fall from there, all the measurable items. At the end of the day, having a father in your life is the determining factor if you're going to be successful or not.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys, and I'll probably be asking a lot of questions to the three of you since I don't have any experience of my own with this. But when you guys were raising your kid, well, first let me back up and let me brief the audience. For those of you who do not know, Dwayne is a father of two biological boys. They're both in their early 20s, I believe. And
David's 23, Daniel's 18, and the bonus child is 19, 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has a stepdaughter. And then Esteban, you have a teenage daughter?
I've got a stepdaughter, which it's a story there because mom's like, divorced. You're not the biological dad. You can't see her. Turning 24 this year. And then our son is 17.
Gotcha. And then Jason has both a son and a daughter, and both of them are in their early 20s now, right, Jay?
Yeah, well, my son's 28. In January, he'll be 29, if you can believe that. And,
wow, holy cow, really?
We were just me and the wife were just talking about that last night. We were like, oh my God, we're getting old.
Holy cow.
And my girl is 24. So, yeah.
Is she still in college?
She is. She's up in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you guys have a lot of experience with this. Whenever your kids were early teens, let's call it 13, 14, 15. I guess my question is this. Did you guys yourselves notice that the children that your kids were playing with, there was a distinct difference between the behavior of kids with two parents compared to the behavior of kids with just one parent? Did you guys notice that at all or no?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's
really?
The more controlled, talking about temperament with the ones that came from a household with both parents versus, and I'm stereotyping, like if I'm generalizing, I should say, not stereotyping, but generalizing, versus the one that just came from a single parent home. They would typically lose their shit more, where the other way, and you look around the country, and that's where I feel that this is my season right now to coach men, because if we show up as fathers, I believe most of the problems that we have today would be gone. and Jimmy with that is, yes, I noticed a difference. And I can also look back at myself and like, I was an absent father. I didn't have my father's alive, but he was an absent father. So I didn't have anybody to tell me like, no, this is how you show up as a dad. No, this is how you show up as a husband. What you're doing is you're creating a shitty environment for them. And going down the route now, at 50 years old, I'm like, okay, got wise with one or two things. Yeah.
Somebody's drag racing.
Airplane or what?
Yeah, to kind of add on to that, I mean, it sounds like you had an absent father, Jason. You didn't know your father, Jimmy. Same thing there. I was lucky. Actually, I have this plaque in my office as my dad, and we were joking off screen about Jason. Am I not turning into my dad? Do I not look? I mean, I am like the spitting image. And that's my two bio boys, and they were much younger. But my dad, he instilled a lot of things in me that I carry on. But what you were talking about was, you see the difference, and you see it all the time. Actually, Sergio, your comment here, I was hoping to get that put up there about getting the 50-50 custody. I was one of the fortunate few in Texas that actually had that. Less than 5% of fathers get 50-50 in Texas, and well, nationwide, but we'll pick on Texas here. And one of my sons, he did great because he was older, so he was able to kind of weather the storm and dealing with the nonsense that happens post-divorce. My younger son, unfortunately, he kind of succumbed to the mom would let him stay up until 3 a.m, then couldn't figure out why he couldn't go to school on time. The issues that happen when you got the custody and one parent is doing what they're supposed to do and one's not. But you see a lot of kids that, if they have behavioral issues and you ask, where's your mom and dad? Well, I got my mom. I don't know where my dad's at. My dad's, been removed or whatever. And it's like, and you just, check the box. And again, the data, if you go to the website or the app, the data all supports that. And I know, Esmond, you were kind of saying, I'm generalizing here on, just talking about, I know we don't want to ever, talk bad about mommies and stuff. I'm a little different. I'm 52. I don't give a shit anymore. The facts are the facts. The day's the data. We know that there is that, the mom that's out there that's doing the great job. We're not talking about, we're never talking about those moms. We're the ones that step up and do what's got to get done because the dad decided, hey, I don't want to be part of this and bolts. When I talk about, shitty moms and here's the stat, the data is the data. You can't really argue with that, but we always get at least one person on here. Well, I'm different, blah, blah, blah. One, chances are, no, you're not. And two, we're not talking about, those type of people. So, I mean, I know we'll get some people butt hurt about that, but, if you had any hate mail about women hating or whatever, just send it over to the pissed off parent. I got a special file, looks like a can. I'll just dump it all in there because the data is the data.
Put it in the comments right now.
Put in the comments. And again, for any ladies out there that are like, not me, not whatever, probably not talking about you. Maybe I am, who knows? But the data is the data. 26% of all children are born to single parent homes. You turn the news on, you see it every single day. We didn't have these issues, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's because, little Johnny doesn't know that he can't beat the crap out of so-and-so or do this or do that. And if you think about it, even with widowed parents, when you've got two parents, they're both contributing 50% of the load. When you've only got one parent, that one parent's got to work, got to do this, got to take care of the kids. It's a full-time job. It's a great job. I mean, I love raising my kids, but it's a tough job. And a single parent just can't do it. They can't do it well, and they don't bring what it takes to the table. I mean, I've talked to women. They're like, "Oh, I can replace a dad." No, they don't. They can't discipline the right way. They don't think the right way. And this flip side on guys, I can't think like a woman, thank God. But I can't raise my sons and give them the things that a good mother could give them. There's no way.
Yeah. And I think that generalizing that where I can be the mom and the dad, or I can be the dad and the mom, I think that's dangerous. And
very,
as you're saying, the numbers are the numbers. The stats show, no, we can't. The mom can't be the mom and the dad. You may be claiming those titles, but you're not being effective.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, I would say, no fault to the mom or the dad. It's like, this is supposed to be a unity.
This is how it works.
I show up with my role, you show up with your role, and collectively we're doing a heck of a job raising the kids.
Yeah, I mean, quick story just to illustrate and make it kind of humorous, but it's a true story in my situation is, I had my boys and I had them most of the time. I handled all their clothing. I suck at fashion if it's not obvious. I'm not like, Jimmy over there with his cool suits and Uncle Eddie's shoes and all that other crap. But, my idea of wearing clothes, I wore carpenter jeans, which I know if any woman is on here, they're like, oh my God. Well, when I met my wife, the first thing she did is she got rid of them all. She, made the house into a home. That's what Brandy did. Jimmy had been to the house. It didn't look like this before she got involved in the household. It was a very, stoic, barren thing. They bring fashion in. Now my boys, they don't come to me for fashion advice. They go to her. And, and I'm not trying to belittle that. That's a big thing. Them getting, there's that car driving by again, but they bring a lot to the table, and I don't want to discredit or discount what a mother brings to the table for raising kids, but I'm sick and tired of discounting what a dad brings to the table, because we bring a hell of a lot to the table, and the people need to start recognizing. They need to step up and recognize that we bring a lot to the table. I'm sick and tired of the TV shows, the movies, everything you see is dads are morons, and we can't get through the day without the wife or the mom bailing our asses out. I'm gonna tell you right now, and send your mail to me. That's a bunch of BS. My wife wouldn't be able to do squat without me, and that's just cold hard facts. I don't care if she likes it or not. I know, and she intrinsically knows it. We bring a lot to the table, and I'm sick and tired of dads being thought of as third class citizens. It's BS.
I'm a believer, Dwayne, that there's design to break the family apart with that, and when you talk to confident parents, the wife and the mom's like, this is my role. I'm not going to do what he does. I can't do what he does. And the husband's like, I don't want to do what she does. I can't do. However, the media gives us this BS of look at the weak, puny, or on the opposite side, look at the weak, puny guy, or look at the toxic masculinity. So either way, the guy that can't win, and you remove him out of the household, and we see the damage and chaos that's happening. Yeah. But so now who's the parents? Then that goes to the government.
The government, yeah,
or whoever chooses to be in control. So it's like, no, we get to step up as dads. This is my role.
The thing that pisses me off, and this is going to piss all the women off here that have done this, but when you remove the dad and go to baby daddy government, you're putting your kids into the hands of the government, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do to them. And I can show you all the data on that. Women have done this. Again, they do divorce 70, 80% of the time, yada, yada, yada. But they're the ones that are doing this. They're selling their children up the river.
Yeah.
And that's going to piss some people off. And you know what? Sorry. Not sorry. Don't care. That's what they're doing. They need to stop doing that. Find, quality guys, have some babies, stay married for the rest of your life, and die happy people. That's what we need to get back to.
Dwayne, does this advice that you guys are giving, does it sound angry and toxic?
I'm sure to somebody it is.
Does this sound like angry, toxic advice? And if it does, should we go ahead and put our should we put our disclaimer on, Dwayne? Oh, now you finally got where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Here we go. Everyone who's watching right now, just be warned. Angry, toxic advice. And there you have it. Just in case.
I could go off on this for hours. The toxic, it's nonsense, and they're ruining the nation by doing it. And it's principally women.
You want to have adults walking around wondering if they're boys or girls, wearing freaking crazy hair. It's like it's one thing like, hey, this is a style, I'm going there, but it's another when you're weak and you have zero emotional control.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to that stat from earlier, it's like, no, you get to learn how to manage that.
Yeah.
When you're a child, so when you're an adult, you're not losing your shit for everything that doesn't go your way.
I feel that you can only. I feel you can only really get away with this whole "I'm a boy, I'm a girl" like whenever you're like young and shit. But like, look at the four of us right now. Could anyone ever think that we could get away with being a girl? Look at Jason. Jason will make the ugliest woman that has ever been walking the face of this earth. Jason would make one horribly ugly looking woman. And look at Dwayne as a woman right now.
Dwayne is a cute woman, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you throw a little lipstick on him and some eyeshadow, and he looks scary and demonic. Actually, right now
and that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Jason was telling me a story offline, and this is why they're pushing this stuff. But Jason was telling me a story offline that when they were going to grade school together, Jimmy started coming out as a girl. But thankfully, he decided.
There we
go. He was given the time. Well, I mean, he started drinking a cow mug. And then that's where it all started, and whatever.
This used to be a thing. This used to be a Big Show podcast thing, Dwayne, and you've abandoned me on the cow mug.
Jimmy coming out as a girl.
Jimmy has never been confused about which team he's on.
Thank you.
But you would have killed it, volleyball or basketball. Totally killed it.
Like, wow.
Yeah. Dwayne, Jason has known me for a long time. Jason has known me for a very, very long time, from when I was very young to all manhood. Jason, will you please tell him that I would not make a very good woman, and I know exactly what side of the field I'm playing on.
Yeah, there were guys who played on the other side who tried to bring him over because Jimmy was a good-looking young dude, and Jimmy wasn't having it.
Whoa!
Put the brakes on it.
Being in the boy band, I see that. Totally see that.
I mean, we were getting attention from every direction, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I tell you, all this P. Diddy stuff that's coming out right now, and how crazy these people on the entertainment business. Jason can speak firsthand. Whenever we were in the entertainment business for like 5 years, and we actually, way back in the 90s, late 90s, Jason and I saw a glimpse of what the entertainment business was back then. And there were guys who swung both ways. They were trying to get a piece. Way back then. So it is actually a factual thing. I'm not saying that what Diddy did, I don't know much about this whole thing, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not going to say good, bad, or indifferent, anything that he did. I don't know. But I do know that he is
right now, so he did something.
Yeah. Well, I remember living in Jacksonville, Florida, early 2000s, and the Super Bowl was in Jacksonville one year. Don't remember what year it was. And P. Diddy flew down in his jet, and I knew girls who hung out with him in the VIP section, and he put them on the plane and was like, "Yeah, let's go fly to Miami." And I heard the stories. So he definitely was a man who was all in that, sex line and all that stuff. So,
well, unlimited amounts of money will corrupt almost anyone.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are. And he suffered. I think he got to the status of being a billionaire at one point, and he had more money than he knew what to do with. And he's living that rap style, lifestyle of the rapper. And, could you expect anything else from him, really?
Side tangent. Wait till you see all the strings who they're attached to. And he himself is still a puppet. Wait till you see that.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show. If you guys are new to the show and you want to follow us, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We would appreciate the support, and I also have to get more followers than Mike Keller, so I'm still working on trying to get that. But let's go into the fourth segment of the show today, and that is what are some things that's great about being a dad? And I did my research.
Oh God,
I can't speak to it personally, but I want you guys to let me know if you guys think that these are great things about being a dad. And I put together like 30 things that men have said that is one of the best things about being a dad. Because what I've heard, and I've heard from you guys and others, that being a father is an incredibly rich and rewarding experience. Mm-hmm. And I hear that it's filled with moments that are challenging.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they're deeply
fulfilling. Let's put it lightly, bud.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, tell us about some of your dad moments.
I mean, it flips a switch in you when that child is born and you watch them come into this world. You realize that this story isn't all about you, and you turn into this protector who is your whole life is to serve at that moment. After that,
Yeah.
And there are challenges along the way. My wife and I learned at around age 2, my son was diagnosed with autism. And, occupational speech therapy his whole life. And it's been a challenge trying to make sure that he had all the resources he needed. And I fought the companies I worked for to make sure that, insurance would pay for it, because I'd surely be bankrupt if I had to come out of pocket to pay for those things myself. So, that as far as challenges, I mean, my daughter was an angel until she left the house and went to college. And then she developed a personality that I don't recognize, but I can't account for. I don't know what happened, but I love her dearly, and I love him, and I would do anything for them. And, I basically live for them, and it gives you purpose, it gives you meaning, and it gives you a legacy that will live on beyond you. And you hope that you did well enough to you leave this world with some good people that'll be good stewards over the things that they're responsible for. And the world will be a better place because of the people you brought into it.
Yeah.
That's a good
Well,
one.
I put together 30 things that guys have said that has been some of the most rewarding. And number one is that they say that their kids, that they said that when you're a dad, your kids think that you know everything. Like in your child's
that
eyes,
changes.
Yeah, I bet.
That changes, let me tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But according to these guys, in the beginning, you're like the all-knowing superhero. And whether it's explaining why the sky is blue, or answering
Superman.
questions like why don't arm hairs grow as long as head hairs, your answers, regardless of accuracy, are like taken as gospel when they're kids. And the unquestioning belief in your wisdom creates a special bond between you and your kids, fostering admiration and trust. And I think that's the central to being a father, or having a father-child relationship. And the phase, to your guys' point, is not going to last forever, but while it does, it's truly heartwarming. Did you guys find that your kids felt that way whenever they were younger?
Oh yeah.
Well, we tell them stories of Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and we imbue them with what religion we were taught to learn, and they believe all of it, whether it's true or not. And they take it on face value, that everything you just said. And there comes a day when they realize, okay, Santa Claus is not real. Tooth Fairy is mom. And then they figure out religion on their own, eventually, their own version of what the truth is. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's popular. Mine was a little different. I mean, I always had a thing, and again, it's not. I had zero issue with parents doing, and we probably need to tread lightly because of Jimmy. I think he's still on the fence on Santa Claus and stuff. So I don't want to.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Is this a revelation for you, buddy?
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but I kind of laid it out for the most part. I mean, my ex-wife, pushed back really hard on my position. So I had to take a kind of a neutral position. I wouldn't answer the question, kind of would deflect and all that. And then as far as religion, I actually, a little bit more about me, but back in my 30s or whatever, I did a deep dive into the more popular ones out there, did all the research, all the data and everything. And then I basically, probably at a too young of age, taught my children, the good and the bad of the different positions out there with regard to religion, and leaving it as they need to make the decision. I have a view that, God doesn't have grandkids. He's only got kids. It's one of those things. And, I was, Bible believer, and obviously still am. But I didn't want them to, believe what I believed just because I believed it. I kind of did the whole thing. So, and what was funny is my oldest son really took it to heart, and he would, because our schools, unfortunately, were supposed to be agnostic. They were teaching whatever they were teaching in school, and my oldest son would debate them. And I would get emails like, your son needs to stop talking about this. I'm like, well, how did it start? Well, we were talking about this and talking about that. And then your son, laid out all these facts and figures that shows that, Buddha's not this and Hindu this and all, and just went down this stuff. He was like a little parrot of me. And, and he went through his crisis of faith and all that, just like the other one. And then, comes back around. But yeah, I took kind of a different, but again, my thing is that it should be up to the parents to do that. It shouldn't be, you know, the indoctrination of the school system or the government, which is kind of, you know, what makes me mad about some of the comments I was making earlier about turning over your kids to the government and having the schools or the government raise them, because that's how they're going to come out screwed up, or at least not even close to believing what you believe. But yeah, I you know, kind of did a slightly or a different track with them. Again, either way is fine. I mean, you know, your kids, that's the way you do it. Not an issue. I did mine my way. Worked for me. You know, had my benefits there. But you know, my big thing is having the parents have that type of control to teach their kids how they believe the kids should be taught, not having government or schools or whatever intrusion. That's, you know, I can go off on a big old tangent on that one as usual.
I think when kids are small, I don't think the point of telling them the story of Christmas and Santa Claus is because you want them to believe there's really a man. It's about creating this season where you come around, all the family comes around, and everybody gathers under the tree in the morning of, and you create this experience. Right. It's about making a magical experience that they will always remember. And then the Tooth Fairy, maybe that fable came along because it teaches that if you give something important up, you'll get something in return. There's always something in the background. And with religion, you know, same thing. It doesn't matter about the details necessarily, which religion you belong to. The point is the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. That's got to be embedded in whatever religion you share with your children. And then, you know, have some idea that it's important for society to be civil. It's important for us to talk things out instead of war with one another. And churches, if they're doing their job right, teach us these things. And, you know, it's important for society. And then once kids get older, they figure out, okay, these were all metaphors for something. And then if they mature enough, they realize that those are useful metaphors, and they will guide them through the rest of their life.
Then you got this guy who's going to be Googling Santa Claus after the show going, what do you mean there's no, what?
Yeah.
I mean, next thing I know, you guys are going to be telling me that the Tooth Fairy's not real. Come on, guys. I mean, seriously.
Come on.
Yeah. But what about number 2, guys? Tell me if you guys have entered into this where your kids can't fathom anyone stronger than you, like physically stronger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well,
I make sure no matter how old my son is, that's the way he'll always see it.
I don't know.
Is that a driving factor to why you got into fitness?
He's bigger than I am. So
it is now. You know, it's. I heard somebody ask one time, "Who do your kids look up to?" And some movie star, some superhero, some comic book character, and it's like, what day was it that your son no longer looked up to you? What day was it that your daughter no longer looked up to you? And I'm like, no way will I slack on who I be as a dad to where my son is seeking elsewhere for guidance, advice, or looking up towards. So Jimmy, for that, it's as he's gotten older, actually, as I've been waking up, let me put it that way, I'm like, bullshit. I get to show up at my peak so that he has the best influence possible. Because if not me, it's coming from elsewhere. And I guarantee you elsewhere is going to be a shitty experience, as the stats show.
Yeah. Talking about this always reminds me of a story. I've been in martial arts for decades, and that's one of the reasons why I can't walk so well now. But I had taken him to one of my tournaments, and I was fighting. He always had that. My oldest son always had that idea of me, and I blew my shoulder out like in the middle of the fight, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. Yeah, it wasn't the actual tournament. It was like the sparring leading up to it. And he told me later, like, that was the first time I've ever seen you like not being the Rock. And I mean, again, this is 15 years later, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. So you know when that magical day happens. But yeah, I mean, my kids have always, I would say up until probably recently, have always thought that I was the Superman that got it done, because I was always the guy that showed up when my oldest son got stabbed in school. I was the one that showed up when they got in trouble for doing stupid stuff. I was always the one that showed up. I was always present. I was always there, regardless of if the law or whatever allowed me to be there. I was always there, guiding them and being there and saying, I don't give a shit what she says or the courts or whatever. I'm going to be there for my kids. And, they hopefully remember that as they get older. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Well, Jimmy and I grew up in Holiday, Florida, and there were some parents who didn't know how to act. And so when you got neighbors that fight out in the streets and then maybe even bring it to your house, that the idea that there's a father standing there at the door to hold off the threat, a very real threat. Like, the world can be a cruel place sometimes, and there are very real threats out there. The fact that you have somebody guarding the gate is a concept that I think is, important to remember. I mean, some people live in gated communities, they've never had an issue, but if you live in a poor community where there's regular violence and the cops don't always show up on time, it can be important to have a strong male figure in the household. And I never had that. I had to become that. I watched my mom get beat. I watched my mom have her ass beat, and by men that weren't good men. Right. And so, had there been a figure there that would stop that shit, it would have been different, So it's important to have somebody there to be the guard from the outside world that will sometimes.
Well, men are protectors. That's what we do. We're the ones that are called to, when there's a noise, a bump in the night, a noise, an issue or whatever, we're the ones that are handling it. You never hear the strong, independent females going, "Oh, I'm going to stop that burglar with my golf club or baseball bat or whatever." It's always the guy dragging out going, "All right, it's go time." I've had a number of situations.
I bet it's more calming and a feeling of security. Even if you live in a calm community, it's nice to know that you have that extra layer of protection through a strong man who can handle his business if shit goes sideways,
Yeah. Whether you're in the hood or you're in the nicest neighborhood with all the millionaire billionaires, be a badass. Just be the badass that can tear up the day if need be.
Dwayne, what color belt did you achieve?
Let's see, in Taekwondo, black, and blue in American Karate. And the only reason I didn't get higher, my oldest son always wanted, or he never wanted me to be better than him. He always looked at us as a competition, and the other dads are laughing because they know that father son, I'm the old bull, young bull thing back and forth. And anyway, he basically told me, he's like, I just couldn't handle, I can't handle if you were to be better than me. And I'm like, dude, I've won, I don't know how many tournaments I've done a lot of stuff in my time, and so I talked to the sensei and I'm like, dude, do not promote me above my son. Just don't do it. And David he quit when he got his purple or blue or purple. I'm trying to remember his number, like 10 some odd years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, no one ever messed with Dwayne's kids, because once people knew Dwayne's level of competence in fighting, and Dwayne wasn't modest about it either. I mean, he had a bumper sticker. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of Dwayne's bumper sticker right here. Here it is, right there. Everyone pretty much knew to stay away because
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne's the only guy that would probably kick your ass and then try to fuck it afterwards. So I mean,
yeah, Jason told me you were a bottom, and I didn't want to believe him. But then, okay, that explains a lot. Okay, another part of the puzzle falls in place. Gotcha.
So, number 3 on the list is.
And why is it on your computer? Why are you getting some stickers printed for yourself?
I took a picture of your bumper sticker, dude. I mean, that's a picture of your car. I mean, I don't know. You ask these questions to yourself. So number 3, and this is an interesting one. Whenever I saw the stats on, is they force you to slow down. So what they're saying is that kids have a way of kind of making you pause and live in the moment. And before you became a father, your life might have been like a rush of work with a whole bunch of adult responsibilities, but your children kind of give you a reason to slow down, disconnect from work, savor time with them. Did you guys find that to be true?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to ride a motorcycle? Nope. It's because I know I'm going to drop it. It's not if, it'll be when. So multiple things of slowing down, extreme activities.
Yeah.
That's
for the other dads, did your kids teach you patience?
I would say, yeah.
Patience, because there were days you just want to.
I think this is the second or third time we've mentioned the word patience, and every time we do, Jason kind of leans back and goes, lots of it, for goodness sakes. Yeah.
You learn patience.
Jason didn't always have all that gray hair.
And raising a child with special needs is an extra layer of patience. on top of everything else, because when you're young and you're, a young dad that with all these aspirations and ideas about what fatherhood is going to be, and then life just comes and crushes them one after another and throws all these challenges in front of you, you have to have patience or you won't make it.
You look bad in orange, basically.
Yeah. Well, that, or you leave out of frustration, and that never was an option for me. So
number 4 on the list was showing them the world. So as a father, apparently you get the joy of introducing your kids to the world of, the wonders of the world that we live in, and whether that's the Grand Canyon or simply marveling at a bug in your backyard. You guys get to share the excitement of the beauty and the mystery of the world. Any stories you guys can share on that?
Some of my fondest memories are of the family traveling together and going to national parks, and we've gone and done several of the national monuments, and we went to Washington D.C. together. We went up to New York together. We did everybody jumped in the van. We went to NASA, watched the space shuttle takeoff. It was amazing, and I like to hope that that left impressions on my kids as much as it left impression on me. And those memories are precious.
Oh yeah. So about you, Esteban?
Yeah, we had, I was fortunate that in my son's school, they had father-son holidays. So we through elementary, we all went camping. So it was a brotherhood, a fatherhood, just bonding, and that was awesome. And I would love doing road trips on. We're just going to stop everywhere and experience as much as we can experience, because that was what traveling was about. Was how many memories can we create? How much experience? And I wasn't even thinking it that way, or maybe I was. It's like, okay, I get to coach him. I get to show him. I get to be part of his growth on whatever the experience is. So looking back, he shares with me now, and almost being an adult, 17 years old. Yeah. He's like, Dad, I remember this and I remember this, and I'm like, okay, that makes me feel good.
Right. Yeah. Well, we had I think we showed it off a couple of weeks ago. And I have others for my other son stuff, but when Jimmy, myself, Eric, and my 2 boys went hunting last year, about around this time, my oldest son got his first deer. We did the blood ritual. Got to kind of show him that experience and the excitement. I mean, Jimmy, you remember he was like, on top of the world, and it was just awesome, and got that bonding time. Teaching him that, or having him, see that and experience it was awesome. My youngest doing different things with him. It's really, I mean, you're even though you're like re-seeing the world through their eyes. I mean, when they look at, on something in wonder, or, they experience something for the first time that you've done a million times, but they experience it for the first time. And you see that look, it's like, yeah. And then, just the teaching them how to succeed, how to fail. I mean, teaching them those things.
That's a good one. How to fail. Yeah. I think as a father, that's an important role, Jimmy, on this one. We get to be that guide on what they get to experience those first few times in their life.
Yep. Oh yeah. Teaching your kids how to fail is one of probably the biggest things, because they're going to fail a lot in their lifetime. And unfortunately, we live in the land of participation awards. And so when these kids go out for their first job and they don't get it, or they go for a girl or a guy or whatever, and they're crushed or whatever, having the dad there, having them fail a few times and being there in that little world and showing them, okay, this is how you get better. You don't just give up, you get better. And teaching them those things, that makes them a better person. They're not going to give up. That's why we don't, that's why now we have, 20% of all kids brought their parents to their job interview. That's why we have that number. It's ridiculous. I mean, where we're at today, because we don't have dads going, no, you stand up, you shake.
Jason's confused there, but a couple shows back, Jay, we ran some stats, and there are actual kids nowadays who are bringing their parents to their job interviews. It's a true thing. This is the world that we live in right now.
He's doing that. Yeah, if you can find that stat, it was on a few, but 20% of kids or millennials are bringing their parents to a job interview. Yes. That's where we're at today. This is when you remove the dad from the household. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm bringing through the
on
comments
though,
section, and one comment that I thought was pretty good is Patrick Knotts talks about the tooth fairy and Santa Claus. He says, when our son wrote a letter to Santa, he just simply asked him, "How do you watch us?" And then the same son wanted to try and tap the tooth fairy so he could take her money and buy us a house at 7 years old. How cool is that? And then
he's already figuring out how to circumvent the system.
yeah, and then I guess a tooth fairy is supposed to be loaded, but the son thought it was creepy though that the tooth fairy is buying up kids' teeth. So the son's starting to get old enough to realize that's kind of freaking weird. The tooth fairy apparently wrote him back a letter, though. It turns out the tooth fairy is a badass biker who don't take crap. So that's a pretty good story. But let's see, what are we on now? Oh, number 5. So number 5, and we were actually talking about this right before we went live. Number 5 is you're no longer the center of the universe, because fatherhood shifts your priorities. Your children's happiness and safety, your children's well-being becomes the focus of your life. And apparently, when dads experience becoming a father, dads are realizing that the universe is they're not at the center of it, and the kids become a center of it, to Jason's earlier point. Number 6 is you'll feel
major religions try to teach us to destroy our own ego. And one of the fastest ways to get your ego destroyed is to have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Because you learn real fast. The first time you're in a grocery store and they say something that is embarrassing, and that's your kid. There goes your ego.
Yeah. What about like kids saying things that are like not popular? Yeah, like super honest and not popular to say. Like I remember watching an IG clip not too long ago. You guys might have seen it, where it's facing the father. He's drinking coffee, and off the camera is the mom, off the camera is the son, and you hear the son going, no, I think it's the mom going, "Hey, honey."
It's not the one where he doesn't want to drink the pill or take the pill, right?
Okay. The wife says to the husband,
family-friendly show.
The wife says to the husband, "Hey, am I getting? Would you still love me if I was fat?" And the husband goes, "Of course I would love you if you were fat." And the kid, you can hear the kid go, "But mom, you are fat." And he spits out all. Yes. So, have you guys ever experienced a time where your kid said something very honest? Because there's only 3 things in this world that are honest: drunk people, children, and yoga pants. Those 3 things are always going to tell you the truth.
Yoga pants. Oh my God.
Oh God. I mean, when I was heavier, I've had my kids call me fat. I mean, they're honest. They're like, "You fat, Dad. You need to do something about your weight."
They can be brutal.
I don't know if this next one's true or not. You guys tell me. But number 6 is you'll feel young again. So it goes on to talk about, remembering the joys of being a kid, the thrill of a swing or the laughter of a tickle fight. And it talks about how kids kind of reconnect with those simple pleasures where you're on the monkey bars, you're sliding down the playground slides. Honestly, I haven't seen playgrounds in a while.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it's the bringing back my experience when I was that age. My experience when I experienced that for the first time. Then my son, I haven't seen the series Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
I was born in 74, and my son's like, "Dad, did you have these? Did you have this?" And again, I haven't seen the shows, and I'm like, "How do you know about this?" So he tells me, he's like, "This was your era show." I'm like, "Okay, I get it." But yeah, so the way you phrased it, yes.
Yeah. As far as making you physically feel younger, no. not happening. But as far as the emotions, I mean, at 25, 30, whatever, do you think you'd ever be doing a Nerf fight in your house where you're barrel rolling behind the couch and all that, in a normal day? No. But for your kids, at least I was doing that. I was, we were having Nerf gun fights and, doing bike rides and all those things and, having those fun times. It makes you think back to their, when you were that age, the fun stuff you did.
Did you see the video where the guy is, he's dressed in full like night gear, night vision.
Yeah.
Got the vest and he's got a Nerf gun and his kids are running for their dear life. and it's in slow motion. He's like, duck, 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 duck. And you see one kid get hit in the ankle, and he starts to fall, and another shot hits in the back, and he it was just epic. It was great. I want to be a father just so I can torment my kids like that.
Oh yeah.
Number 7, you relearn how to use your imagination. Okay, so when your child asks you to play pretend, you're transported back to a time where possibilities are limitless, and you're stopping robots or transformers, or I guess fatherhood's supposed to bring out the creative side, reminding you how your imagination can run free. Did you guys find that to be the case?
Yeah.
Well, when you both had daughters and that were younger, so when they hand you a teacup or a phone, you drink it or you answer the phone. It doesn't matter how old you are. You just do it.
Yeah.
You engage with the the childlike thing, and then cartoons, toys, games. You reconnect with them, through those things.
If you're slowing down long enough to try to connect with your child, you will eventually see the world through their eyes.
Yep.
And
there was a phase with me with no kids, and it's I'm an adult now. I need to think this way. I need to behave this way. I need to just be a certain way. And then when the kids come out and they're being kids and they're imagining,
right?
You immediately go back there. And then I've noticed some adults that my wife, for instance, with extended families, and there's always kids around. It's like, this is what you do. You play with the kids and you get into their imagination. So for me, it was interesting how I went from, no, I can't be that way, to where like, I can't wait to do
exactly.
this.
Yeah. You hung out the young, it sounds a little bad as you get older like me, but you're waiting for the kids, and you want to hang out with them.
Play. Let's go. This is fun. Yeah.
They'll force you to become a creative problem solver for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys remember, or did you appreciate number 8, late night feedings, where you're holding your baby in the stillness of the night, just the two of you guys, and you're feeding your baby at night? Is that a thing?
Oh God, I wouldn't say appreciate. That's a pretty. I don't know if I can hang with you on that one, but I remember many late night. Actually their mother, breastfed, so I didn't have that issue, or I didn't do the bottle thing. But afterwards, when they would get up, I would have them on me. I'd walk up and down the stairs, burp them, and all that. And that would be 2 a.m, 3, 4, 5 a.m. Then you'd have to get up and go to work, and work a 8, 9, 10-hour day. But I remember
first time parents. You can tell they're first time parents because they're exhausted all the
look.
time.
Yeah,
second, third, fourth kid, they figured out a pattern, but the first time parents. Yeah.
Let's just say I'm glad I was really young when it all went down. I don't think I'd enjoy doing it now. It'd be rougher.
Oh, I couldn't. I need my afternoon nap. Actually, Jeremy B's got one. I don't know if this is your list, Jimmy, but this is the one I'm gonna put up here in a second. That you are not a parent until this happens. You're not a parent. If someone says I'm a parent and I'm like, you ever get peed on? You ever get the fire hose? They're like, no, you're not a parent. Yeah, you are not a parent until you have had feces or urine sprayed upon you right before you have to go into a meeting.
So my younger brother Chris had kids when he was fairly young. I think he had Jaden when Chris was 19. So I made it a point. I actually asked Chris and Mandy if I could change Jaden's diapers, and I only did it just because that way, whenever he gets older, I can say I literally used to change your diapers. I want to throw that in.
So when they change your diapers, you can say, "Hey, look."
Yes, yeah. You're just giving this back, buddy, because I used to change yours. Now you're changing mine. And so, here I was just going through the motions, just trying to go ahead and change a diaper. And so I do the whole grab both ankles and lift his ass up. And as soon as I did, dude, that little baby squirted shit all over me, hit me in the chest. I dropped the kid. I'm like, oh. Officer down. Officer down. Oh, my God, dude. I was the first and last diaper I ever changed.
Well, the thing that, that a lot of people that, aren't parents don't get is that the smell changes. Like the first couple weeks is kind of, that's Simone knows what I'm talking about. First couple weeks are kind of like, okay, this ain't so bad. And then something about week 4 on, oh, God. It's like napalm. It's horrid.
Like, what are we feeding this kid?
You're like, what is this kid eating? And then changing diapers. I mean, dads for the longest time when I was, had my kids, we didn't have in the guys' room men's changing stations because reasons, we weren't, I guess, important enough. So I would have to bring the blanket in and try to use the baby carrier to do the whole thing, and or change him in the back of the car, or change him wherever he needs it, because those things got big. But yeah, then you become an old pro after after you get over the initial whatever. You just become,
after you drop them once or twice, then you get really good.
yeah, Jimmy, you dropped them once, so now get a couple more under your belt, you'll be fine.
I didn't drop them far, but I did let go of them. I mean, I just basically was like, I'm hit, and plus, knowing me, I probably had some gaudy silk shirt on, thinking I was smooth, and probably ruined my outfit. I can't remember. I know that number 9. I definitely know that some of you, that probably all 3 of you guys did that, but did this. But number 9 is embarrassing them. So whether it's your dance moves, whether it's your outfit, whether whatever, and they hate it, but they secretly love it. Okay, you guys have to give me some sort of story real quick on a time that you guys have purposely embarrassed your kids. Dwayne, I'll start with you.
Oh God, I'm trying to figure out the best one. I mean, I would drop the dad dance moves wherever we go. I would make inappropriate comments, fart. There's so many. I have a megaphone, and I would call them by screaming into the megaphone to get them up. Every year on the last day of school for each of the kids, I would ride up on my motorcycle, and on the radio I was playing "School's Out for the Summer" from Crocus, and I would pull up Mr. Billy Badass on my bike, and I'd be like, and I'd have that playing loud. I mean, everyone would be like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" And they'd be walking out like, "Oh my God," and all that. But I mean, look at me. I embarrassed my kids every chance I got. It's just something fun to do.
Esteban?
All right, so my son, as a baby, I'd take him everywhere. Anywhere we go, I'm holding him. We're walking, I'm always holding his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So then, as he's getting older, that's not a cool thing. And I remember being 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I can't remember what it was, somewhere around there. And I'm coming out of the grocery store with my mom, and she wants to hold my hand, and saw a girl that went. I'm like, "No, Mom, no." So I had to do that one to my son. So here he's in junior high, and I'm like, "I get to hold your hand. Let's go." "No, Dad, no." And I'm like, no, I'm your dad. I'm holding your hand. Let's go. So the older he's gotten, it's a fun thing. It's like, how do I get to embarrass him this time?
What about you, Jason?
Well, parents try to keep their kids engaged and active in things when they're especially younger. And my daughter was a teenager, and I thought that to increase her physical activity, get her out from behind a computer, because that's always an issue. I need to find something physical she can get engaged and involved in, and she'd be successful with, and maybe that I could be involved with her in doing it. And so I came up with the idea of, let's go to some yoga classes. And so
you wore the yoga pants.
I didn't, but we started doing the poses in this class, and it was filled with women. I think I might have been the only man, one other guy there. And he had like one of those buns. He was one of those hippie types with the bun thing. So I'm the only actual man there. And, I'm going along with emotions and doing everything that's asked. And then she puts us in this one pose that just absolutely emptied my stomach out. It louder. Yeah. Right. And my daughter's sitting right there, and I ripped the loudest fart, and everybody acted like nothing happened. And I couldn't stop cracking up. Oh, God. I'm laughing at myself at this point. And my daughter laughed at me too, but that was pretty embarrassing.
So number 10, I don't know about this one. Number 10 is having a kid is like getting a full-time personal trainer. And it goes on to say kids have like an endless supply of energy. And as their dad, you're often one that they want to play with, whether it's running in the park, giving piggyback rides, things like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
That's true when they're little.
Yeah, they get older and they're kind of like, but we used to, when the kids were little, both of them, we would do wrestling at the Chase. David had his signature Superfly Jimmy Snuka move where he would jump off the couch on my back and, slam me down. Oh yeah. I mean, they both would just beat the crap out of me. We did that, bike rides, the energy. I just have fun memories of the youngest, Daniel, 18. He was the kid that his battery was 100% and then it went to 0. So I have a memory that I'll never forget. We're in the middle of Target and we're walking out, and when he gets tired, he gets real cranky. And he's sitting there and he's standing up in his cart and he's pointing to people going, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, as he's walking out. And then as we get out into the parking lot, he then craters and then, comes up, lays on my shoulder, and then he's out, and then he's just, gone. But I mean, so many stories with all of them where, too many stories. I don't know, Espa, Jason, you guys.
Once they get old enough to get addicted to these.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, all that activity stuff comes to a screaming halt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that young age, it is that battery that just keeps going until they sleep. So yep. Jimmy, I had my son at a young age. I pull out the focus mitts. I'm like, I'm teaching this kid how to box because I couldn't keep up. Yeah, I get that. It's like, yep, you have a trainer all the time. I'm like, I just need to sit down. Okay, here we go. Let's do some drills.
Oh yeah. Wow. I got a story about my dad that I was told. So back in the day, he worked a full-time job and went to night school, and he, got no sleep, obviously. So remember those old swings that you put the kid in there and they swing back and forth. Now this is back in the 70s. This isn't like electric and all this. It was a hand crank. And when he did the hand crank, he'd get about 5 or 10 minutes out of it and stuff. And I was maybe like 1 or whatever. And so I'm in there and he's like, okay, I'm getting 5 minutes out of him. I'm gonna, I'm gonna crank the shit out of this thing and get like 20 minutes, get a cat nap in. So he cranks it up, flicks the light off, and goes and tries to lay down for a couple minutes. The thing's ticking me back and forth, tick, tock, tick. All of a sudden you hear spring. The spring had just exploded because it was wound so tight. And he told me, later when I was older, he's like, he ran in there, flicked the light on. I'm sitting there. My eyes are like, let's see, they were like this, I'm like, oh, and he got halfway in and the smell kicked him back because I shit myself so bad from being scared. But yeah, oh God, so many funny stories. But anyway, sorry.
So I know number 11 has to be one you guys were aware of. Number 11 is you're more aware of your own bad behavior.
Ooh, yeah.
So I guess it's fatherhood supposed to make you kind of reflect on your own bad habits, and then the smoking, the drinking, the unhealthy snacking, cussing. Yeah. So you guys,
cursing's a big one. Yeah. Yep.
I've always had a potty mouth, and when the kids, especially when the kids were little, if I did it in front of mom, I immediately was reminded that's not something we want to teach the kids,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the one, like, even if you just say it casually, like 70 other words, that one word sticks to them and they'll make a song out of that one word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Daniel, when he was little, I gotta tell you, when Daniel was little, didn't allow cussing, which I know is an amazing feat for me, but I did shut it off for that period of time. And he's like, well, what words can I say when I'm angry? And I'm like, okay, you can say dork and you can say idiot. And so when he would get angry about something, he'd walk off all pissed and everything. He's like, dork idiot, you dork idiot, you dork idiot. And it was the cutest thing. I mean, you can't get mad at him, but that was his idea of a cuss word. He'd be like, I mean, he'd get in trouble for something and I'd, ground him or do whatever. He's like, dork idiot, you're a dork idiot.
Let's see. Stories. I can see this one. Number 12, I can definitely see this one. Nothing's better than making them laugh.
Oh God. Oh. Making them laugh when they piss and shit themselves.
What's that,
Jason?
I said nothing's better than hearing them laugh.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Knowing that your children are happy, that you've achieved.
Oh,
so, like at all ages, whether they're babies, toddlers, late teens, Yeah.
Oh,
This
God,
is probably
yeah.
going to be
This is
hard
fun.
for you guys to describe for me, because it'd be like me asking you to describe the sun. It's really hard to do that into words. There may not be the right English words to completely convey it. But why does the sound of your children's laughter, why is that so special and important?
You know they're
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
So
They're happy, safe.
it's the you want to provide and protect and create an environment to where they're safe and they can be joyful. So it's like
Yeah.
if somebody's laughing, boom, all the boxes are checked.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, as adults, the crap that is in this world and all the stresses and all that stuff. And it's hard for you to laugh knowing all the things that you know, but seeing your kids just give that laughter, they don't have a care in the world. I mean, that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, one of the most important things is that your children be happy. And when you know they're happy because you can hear it, that lets you know that, okay, things are good.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
Number 13, they'll give you a renewed respect of your own dad.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess for me, you find yourself saying the same things your dad said to you.
That can be complicated.
Yeah, and others it can be a challenge. But for me, you know, some of the things that my kids would do, I would start saying something, going, "Oh God, it was my dad coming through. I sound just like him," and all that. But no, all of you never knew what it was, I don't know, like to drive until you did it. And if someone tried to, have you explain how to drive, you couldn't understand it from your perspective. After you become a dad, you totally get it. And you start thinking back to those times when, like I grew up poor and I wanted to play trombone. Yes, I've always been a nerd. And we were poor. And my dad, I later found out what he did, but he went through a bunch of crap to make sure I got a trombone to play in band, or, if I wanted to get a computer back in the 80s, he made that happen. He sacrificed so much. I didn't know that. He never sat down and said, "Well, son, I picked up 20 different shifts and dealt with this crap." He just got it done. And when we became dads, do you remind your kids when they were little that the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip that you work 3 extra shifts to make it happen? No. Daddy, I want a G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip. Santa Claus brought G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip. It happened.
Number 14, you'll realize just how brave you actually are.
Oh, God, yeah.
Does fatherhood really bring out a different kind of bravery? I mean, I know you guys had to check for monsters under the bed, holding your hand through a thunderstorm, I assume, I suppose it teaches you that real courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being strong for the ones that you love. But tell me in your own words.
And I also see that the braveness in being bold and standing up for what you believe is best for your child. And again, this is where I'd say some have stepped up to that and others don't. Otherwise, we wouldn't have.
We wouldn't be here.
You need to use my pronoun.
Right.
Being brave is also confronting that doesn't match your values and your morals. So I would say that there were moments in my life where I thought I would have been in the back seat and quiet because I don't want to stir anything up. That you're like, no, this is unacceptable because it's impacting my child. And yes, bravery comes out. So that's what comes to mind when you share that.
Yeah.
Number 15. You have a story?
Well, two, one about me and one about my dad. I guess for my dad's, the dad story is years ago, well, obviously years ago when we were much younger, I've told you my brother was deaf and uses sign language and stuff. We were at a gas station. My dad was sick with something or whatever. He could barely stand. And some guy wanted to start a fight with him and was saying that my brother was flipping him off or whatever, but he was actually just doing sign language. And he was standing, like he was in the car trying to get to my brother, who was like 13 or 14. He was just trying to start shit. And my dad, who was, 5'9", 5'10", about my build, rips this 6'6" guy out of the car with his bare hands and squares off with him in the middle of a gas station. And I mean, I don't think under normal circumstances he would have done that. You know, my story, I've had to almost pull my weapon on a few occasions, both times, oddly enough, on a Thanksgiving day. But someone had let some very aggressive dogs out loose in the park, and they started coming after my kids. And so I got right in between the whole thing, and they were like flipping out, and I'm like, you know, trying to keep the dogs away from my kids and all that, and dealing with that. And, you know, just stepping in the way. And, you know, what's funny is that my ex-wife and I were in the middle of a number of problems. And anyway, when we went home, the kids told the mother what happened. And she was disappointed. And they asked her, well, what would you have done? And she said, I would have let the dogs bite you, and then I would have sued them afterwards. That'd be like a difference between, you know, men and women. But, you know, that bravery, like, you know, I don't know about, I say, I don't know about I know about the rest of you. You guys would take a bullet for your kids, you know, 8 days out of a 7-day week. You guys you're going to do anything and everything for your kids. That's what dads do. But that's, you know, that's who you are. When that kid pops out and you look at him for that first time, that thing's right there, and you'll die for him.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say before I choke up. So let's move this on.
You know, just a little caveat. I've noticed, being a very tall man, that every time you hear a story about some fight, it's always they're always fighting a guy who's 6'6". Why is that? Why is it that they're always fighting some giant, right? And every time I meet a grandmother,
this big, I caught.
and every time I meet a grandmother, they have a grandson just about your height, always.
Don't know what it is. I don't know what tall guys.
Maybe off by a foot, but almost your height.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give or take 12 inches or so. Yeah. Okay. Where are we at?
15,
right.
16.
Yeah. 15. And we got 30. So we're really slacking here.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 15 is true unconditional love.
True. Without saying, as Dwayne just mentioned, yes, taking a bullet.
Yeah, let's just move on, because you already know that is not even a question in a dad's mind.
Given. Number 16, roughhousing is awesome.
Yeah. I got back problems this day from the wrestling and all the stuff that I'm very active with my kids, very physical with them. And yeah, that's just, you teach them. There is so much, and this is data that we have, that when you roughhouse with your kids, you teach them so much. It's fun as hell. I mean, you know, the joy on my kid's face when, you know, he brings that elbow lock or chokes me out or whatever. Those are things I'll never forget.
Number 17 is interesting. Apparently, listening to your kids have manners is awesome as well. Like teaching your children to say please and thank you. Is that a big deal?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids are hellions. Yeah.
With me, it's I did a good job. You know, you want to create an environment where they're better than you were, and where you and them are contributing to the community. And when your child is please, thank you, yes ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am, no sir, you're like.
I still remember, my wives. They've never seen the door handle of a car. You know, I'm old school. I open their doors for them. That's just kind of way I was raised. That's what you do. And I instilled that in my kids. And when I see my kids when they're, you know, with women and they open the door for them, like, yeah, they paid attention.
Yep. You get to be chivalrous.
Yep.
Number 18, coming home from work, like after a long, stressful day, you know, they say that there's nothing like coming home to the excited faces of your children. Do you guys enjoy that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I screwed up my son's sleeping schedule. So Jimmy, when you and I worked similar time, I would travel a lot. So that was part of my gig. Just travel, go to a certain location, coach, develop, whatever. Come home, I'm like, I haven't seen my son for a while. At a young age, he learned how to sleep on his own in his own crib, which can be a challenge. And I would sneak in the crib and hold on to him, and I'd pass out with him on my chest to the point where he was used to falling asleep on me. So then he snuck back into the bed, and it took years.
What the hell is with the octopus kids? What is it like? I got a king size bed, and my boys would actually sleep with me as I got older, just because. But like they're sideways, kicking you in the kidneys. I mean, what the hell's up with that? I mean, Oh, getting woke up at 2 a.m. with a side kick to the rib cage. Oh, something else.
Yeah. So what was cute in one moment then is a black eye in another.
Exactly.
Number 19 is watching them become great at something that you could never do. Did your kids do anything that you couldn't do and you were really super proud of them?
My son's in theater. He does performance, acting, singing. If I had to make a living, I'd be broke if I had to be with singing. So
yeah.
So he takes after you and Jason.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, he can be the fourth member of Fourth Wish because we were always wishing for a fourth. Number 20, being their teacher. So as a father, you get an opportunity of teaching your kids so many things. That would probably be one of the greatest gifts for me personally. So I have to imagine knowing you guys the way I do, that's probably a big deal for all three of you.
Oh God, yeah. There's got to be a lesson in everything. You got to teach them how to win, how to fail, everything in between. Yeah, teaching, that is, because again, you're instilling values. You're instilling your morals and values in them. You know, again, the story I just told about, you know, never, you know, or them always opening a car door for a lady. You know, teaching them. That's just what you do. I mean, why would you do it?
Like the government and the schools don't instill that in the behavior. So that's where the father comes in. It's men aren't chivalrous now. So Dwayne's kids are because he taught them that will never be taught in the school.
Right. Yep.
This one's going to be easy for Dwayne. Number 21. We're almost done. Number 21, introducing them to your geeky obsessions. So Star Wars.
You've seen all the Transformers right there.
Huh?
It's like I'm sure his kids were all into all the Transformer stuff just by looking at his room.
Well, all they're really interested in is how much they're worth. So when I die, they can sell them all. They'll ask me, you know, how much each of them are worth and all that. But no, I mean, yeah, introduce them. I took them to Comic-Cons. I mean, and they loved doing that. I took them to all these different things that I enjoyed that were geeky. And they, you know, liked it, enjoy. I mean, you know, the kids got into different collectibles and you know, their version of it. You know, they did like the Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it is. But yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh, is that what it's called?
I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah,
I don't freaking know.
I'm too old for that. You know, Transformers, Voltron, Thundercats.
I want to ask Jason. Do you have any geeky obsessions? I've never known you to have any like nerdy, like, is there anything nerdy you like?
I play video games. I'm addicted to Fallout 76. And when I was younger, I used to play PC games. And Doom was one. Age of Empires, that kind of stuff.
Do you still play video games?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Because Dwayne and I are always on the Call of Duty Zombies. So if you guys ever want to jump on, I mean, we actually, Dwayne and I just went live yesterday, first time together going live yesterday. So playing video games. Yeah.
All right. I've got a PlayStation. I don't know what platform you're on, but PlayStation 5 is my thing.
Yeah. Actually, it's Zombies. It's cross-platform. So
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the sidelines because
you're like, no, nothing.
No. Yeah. My kids introduced me to manga. Like I didn't know what manga was until my kids came along, and that I don't know where they picked that up.
I don't know what that is.
Japanese anime and stuff like that. It's a whole new world. But my son's into it.
Yeah.
I think Esteban used to be into a Dance Revolution, that game way back in the day. Yeah, I think
totally. I wanted to be in your band, and I'm like, maybe if I get the moves down.
Yeah, he almost made it, but you know, he never made it to Fourth Wish. But Esteban still holds the high score record over at GameStop and over where Jason lives. So
okay.
I was doing the Roger Rabbit back then.
Oh God.
Number 22. It doesn't always go your way, and you're okay with that. So this goes on to say, fatherhood teaches you to let go of control. Maybe your child doesn't love baseball as much as you hoped, or is interested in some of the same TV shows that you know. I guess what the deal is that you had a path for your kids, and it didn't go the way that you wanted it for them, and you're supposed to be okay with that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's my experience, yes. And I've seen some dads that are attempting to live their life through their
vicariously,
or moms trying to live their life
the
through
bras.
their
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. That's rough to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Number
It's a little
23
embarrassing for those people too.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed for some of those parents.
Like dad always wanted to be a football star, so he's forcing his kids to go through varsity football, and dad only made it to JV. Yeah, I've seen that. You're right, it is a little embarrassing. Number 23, I don't know about this one. You guys tell me. Cuddling. So there's nothing like cuddling with your little ones.
Oh yeah,
like a lazy Sunday morning, you're cuddling. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Thing?
Smell them. I mean, it's having that. Yeah, it's that bond. It's that physical bond. I mean, women have it.
Did you just say smelling them?
Yeah.
Maybe
the young child.
There is something to that, Jimmy. I know
It's,
you're thinking of Joe Biden right now.
I know he's going down Biden's thing, but
no, but there is something in nature that makes a dad not want to hurt their children. I guess there's some sort of pheromone that's released from the children. There's a smell. There's something to that.
Give me your kids. Give me your kids.
Go out of it.
Yeah,
that's what I imagine Dwayne looking like as he's sniffing his kids.
Nothing. I mean, the smell of your own newborn baby is a unique scent that you will never leave you.
Yep. Okay, and fair enough. And in all fairness though, I remember
because he never experienced it.
No, I'm about to kind of tell myself. So my little girl Haley, which she's now passed, I love her to death, but I used to smell her all the time too and tell her that I loved her. So I guess that's somewhat similar, or maybe it doesn't apply to dogs, and I just ousted myself as a freaking weirdo. One of the two.
It could be. It's both.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's move on.
Number 24. Little from A, little from B.
Number 24.
A jar of peanut butter. Did you have peanut butter there with the dog?
No, you freaking sick wacko. No. And you know what? I don't know what's sicker, the fact that you brought it up or the fact that I had an immediate joke after that. So number 24, Father's Day. It's the one day a year where your guys are supposed to be thought about, cared about. And did Father's Day go the way that you expected? Did they honor you, cherish you? Did they forget you? What happens? Because I know it ain't like Mother's Day.
Yeah, but for me, it was not. Very little value for me.
From the look on Jason's face, I'm guessing he agrees.
It's not a thing.
Wow, that's sad.
Did your kids ever take you out for Father's Day and then stick you with the bill?
Oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
Dads are crapped on nonstop. I mean, obviously, when the whole Father's Day, I get so sick and tired of the, moms that wear both bull, whatever, nonstop. And they're the same ones that buy the Father's Day cards in packets of 10, those. But, I mean, even on Father's Day, it's just kind of a, don't get a whole lot of whatever. But he said duty.
He said duty. Talking about Call of Duty. Number 25, you start taking better care of yourself, making you more conscious of your health when you have kids, going to the doctor regularly. I mean, how does that work?
After a certain age for me, but I mean, my health went down as a newborn.
Oh yeah. Well, you're focused on your child, you're sleep deprived, you're working crazy hours, you're dealing with your postpartum wife, you're all this stuff, and you're just like, I don't have an hour or two to go to the doctor. I don't have, I gained a lot of weight when my kids were born just because I just started eating like crap, and because I had to eat something quick in order to, be there to take care of them or whatever, or, give them the Happy Meal. There's a couple, fries that are in need of attention. So you start doing that, that kind of stuff. But then after they get older, as
he's gotten older, that's when, I realized I get to be in great shape, but at a young age, no way. Like it went out the window. I wouldn't encourage that for new fathers. I would mentor them differently, but that was not my experience.
Jay, what about you, man? I mean, your son, that's a big dude. He's probably stronger than you now.
Yeah, I don't mess with him.
We still have that. Yeah, my kids, we still have that. I don't care how big or what. I don't care if I'm in a coma. I don't care if I'm in the casket. Don't try anything with me. Each of the kids have tried, and of course, I've told the story a few times. Back when I was like, I was Mr. Martial Arts, karate, kung fu boy, and me and my dad squared off in the driveway, and he launched my ass over my car. Not onto the. I always make it a point to say this. He didn't launch me onto the car. He launched me over the car, and I woke up a couple minutes later, like, what the hell just happened? I was waiting for a DeLorean to come around and something to tell me to go back in time or something. But it's one of those. I don't care how big.
Esteban's children have no chance of beating his ass. You guys may not know this, but Esteban he's an ex MMA fighter where he used to go into the octagon and fight for a living. So Esteban used to get punched in the face for a living. So I don't think his kids are going to be. I remember back in the day, like Esteban used to be a VP at the company that I used to work with. And not only is he a great stand-up dude and he's very knowledgeable, but this was like the height of Esteban's career, because that's all anyone could talk about is like Esteban's next fight and what a badass he was and shit like that. And I remember like thinking to myself, he don't look that fucking tough. I'm not going to fuck with him though.
Typical 6
I still gonna try it. All right, so where are we at? We're on number 26. All right, Dwayne, try to control yourself on this one. Number 26, you're more thankful than ever for your partner. So is allegedly it gives you a renewed appreciation for your partner. Raising a kid together, requires teamwork, patience, love, etc. Is that true? Do you get a renewed?
Yes. For me,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I had a completely renewed, respect for my ex-wife. Yeah.
Well, Dwayne, your ex-wife was. I mean, you
was a
did
peach.
Everything. Yeah, she was a peach. Number 27. We're almost done. You stop being afraid to ask for help. Okay. Fatherhood teaches you humility. There's moments when you feel in over your head, and that's supposed to be okay. And asking for help, whether it's from your partner, family, friends, is a sign of strength, not weakness. I'm just reading this off right here. Did you guys stop being afraid of asking for help?
Yeah. And when it came to the kids, that was my experience.
There are going to be times when you can't do for your kids what other people can. And you have to relinquish control, whether it be a doctor saving them or a therapist helping them or, a neighbor showing them a lesson. Sometimes you just have to step back, observe, and realize, okay, I'm not the best person for this role right now, but thank God there's somebody else out there that is.
That must be tough, considering that, I know all of you guys personally. So every one of you guys are leaders of your household. So doing that must not be easy to do.
When you say that, I don't think it's tough, Jimmy, because so let's put this in a sports scenario. We're going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to do every play. It's like, okay, we get to build a Super Bowl team. And when it comes to your children, you're like, I'm the CEO. I'm going to create the best environment for that child. And I'm not the best person right now. So who do I get to pull in? My experience was never that it was tough or humbling. It's that you figure it out quickly.
Yeah, well, and when you're young and you're trying to start the family initially, and if you were like us, we didn't have money. So I was working insane hours all the time. So part of me relinquishing some responsibility was grandma and grandpa watched the kids a lot. And so I gave up time so that I could go make money so that we could pay bills. And so that was, when I say it was tough, that was tough giving up that time to go get that money.
Yeah.
Number 28 is you learn to pick your battles. So not every disagreement with your child is worth fighting over. Fatherhood teaches you to the importance of letting go. Are you guys, I suppose you're probably at your wit's end and your patience is tested and you have to pick your battles and from going crazy, I suppose. That would
not
be
just
tough.
with the kids, but with your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to be right or do you want to move forward as a unit? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Number 29 is you have a renewed appreciation for the small things. So apparently,
are you talking about my wife?
No, your wife was talking about your jump downstairs. The small things.
All right. That's just want to make sure.
So apparently, children remind you of the beauty of life's simple pleasures, whether it's watching a butterfly or splashing in a puddle, or your child's
lighting a fart.
Yeah, something. I mean, do you guys did you guys have a renewed sense of the small things in life?
Yeah.
Yeah, simple pleasures. Oh yeah, yeah. Just watching them sleep. I don't know about I'm small. I say I don't keep saying that. I know you guys. Have you ever just walked in and your kid's sleeping like a little angel after he's been a complete hellion all day, and you're just like, oh, and it's just, you get that peace.
And then he comes up and goes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You smell so good.
Yeah, and then you're sleeping peacefully in the morning, and they come in and jump in bed and wake you up when you're not ready.
So, yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
And number 30, we're finally at number 30. They'll eventually grow up and leave, and that's a beautiful thing. So probably, I suppose, it's one of those bittersweet things where it's perhaps one of the hardest things that you have to do, but it's also rewarding in a sense too, watching your children grow up and become independent. Jason, you had to do that with your daughter. Dwayne, you're doing it with your oldest.
How they leave isn't up to you. And it's not always a pretty way that they choose to do it. And so there's a whole backstory to that. But yeah, I would have much rather have left on good terms. And I knew the day was coming that, and you hope for it. For your kids, you hope they could go out into the world and make it their own or whatever. And you want that for them. But when they say goodbye, you hope that it's, respectful and something that speaks to the years you put in. And unfortunately, one of the life lessons is that that's not always guaranteed or baked in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all great feedback, guys. And hopefully a lot of that resonated with the people out there, the fathers out there who are watching the show. I really do appreciate the three of you guys coming on and sharing those stories. A lot of it made sense today. And there was a couple that really opened my eyes, and I was unaware of, how that might have, played down with being a father. So it's great to hear. I did notice though that the three of you seem to be on the same page almost every single time.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty universal experience.
Oh yeah, being a dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add before we go to final thoughts?
I appreciate you inviting me on. Thank you.
Yeah, and my invitation is acknowledge and realize how valuable being a father is. And whether you're divorced or not divorced, don't allow bickery with wife or ex-wife to stop you from stepping into the valuable role of what a father gets to do.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So before I go to final thoughts, I was hoping I could get a very important question answered. And it's going to be a difficult question for me to ask you guys, but it's a powerful one. And I don't know if you guys have ever wondered about this, but here's my question. When the three of you are no longer here, what do you guys want your children to remember you by? What is it that you want your children to remember about you being their father? Jason, I'll start with you.
I think I'd like them to remember that I love them and that I did everything within my power to care for them, and that, that wasn't always easy, and that the same will be true for them in the future. But mostly I just want them to remember that I cared very, very deeply, and I did the best I could with what I had.
Yeah. And I'm very proud of you, Jason. You have done a lot through a lot of adversity you pushed through. You came from a lower class, socioeconomic lower class with no father, and you did the best you could with what you had. And I think you've been very successful. You've raised 2 kids. And one had special needs, and that's a challenge all by itself. And you married your high school sweetheart in the mid-90s, and you guys are still married until this day. And not many people people can say that. And there's been a lot of times where you guys have had your ups and downs, and the breaking point seemed to be right there, but you guys always figured it out and you pushed through it. And I imagine I'm not speaking for Jason when I say this. I'm just speaking for myself. I've had this conversation with Jason, and I imagine that anyone who's been married for 15, 20 plus years probably wonders how much better their life would have been if they were never married, if they were single right now, if they never had kids. And I think that guys like myself who are not married or don't have kids, it's our natural proclivity to imagine how it would be to have a life where I do have kids and I am married. I think that one of the things about being a human being is that you always kind of fantasize about what you don't have, and you always wonder if the grass is greener on the other side. Mm. And for what it's worth, I will say this, that the dating scene out there is a complete shit show. And it's really hard to find a good woman in today's world. And although
especially if you're already married.
What's that?
Especially if you're already married.
Yeah, so hard to find one when you're already
it's
married.
So hard. It's awkward conversations. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
But there's a lot of people out there, a lot of single people who envy the situations that the three of you are in. So if you ever, and I don't know if you guys ever do, but if you were to ever wonder if the grass is in fact greener out there, I will tell you that the grass is definitely greener where you water it. And, you guys, I think I personally have a lot of respect for all three of you guys. It's a privilege and an honor to be your friend. And when I became from a boy to a man, it has been because of men like Jason. And as I grew from a man into, a young man into a man, it was because I get a chance to meet guys like Esteban and friends like Dwayne, and the way that you guys think and your moral compasses, it aligns in the right direction. And I'm proud to say that I can associate myself with men who are just good, genuine men. And I truly do believe that you are a summation of the people that you associate with, that you surround yourself with.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. I truly believe that if you make the mistake of having the wrong group of friends, you will struggle in life. And especially for men, because women tend to be more social, but especially for men, the bonds that men have with each other is a special thing. I mean, Jason and I have known each other for, since 1995. I mean, that's a long time, dude. I mean, it's a long, long time. And there are times where years go by where Jason and I don't talk. And the thing about Jason, I can say about him personally, is that we could go 3, 4, 5 years. And it's not because we've ever had issues with each other. It's never been the case. As a matter of fact, I brag about Jason. I don't know if you know this. I brag about you oftentimes. You and I don't see eye to eye on a few things. Politics comes to mind on one of them. And I've never had a conversation with Jason, no matter how much I disagree with him or vice versa, where it turned into an argument or a finger pointing or whatever. I've always found that him and I had way more in common than we thought on the issues when we have a chance to talk about them. And there's always been a mutual respect of each other. But I can go 4 years, 5 years without talking to Jason, or hell, even let's take Esteban, for instance. There was a time where probably 10 plus years went by. I didn't speak to Esteban. And then whenever we finally do reconnect, it's like 10 days went by. And that's when that's, in my personal opinion, that's when you've got good quality friends in your circle, is when there's no love lost from the time, that goes by. And I just want to say that I appreciate you guys, but I also want to give a chance. I took us off topic a little bit. I apologize. I want to give Dwayne and Esteban a chance to answer the question as well, because it's a question worth answering. Esteban, I'll go to you. When you are no longer on the planet, what is it that you want to be remembered by your kids for?
2 things come to mind. Following Jason's suit: loving and live with purpose.
Yeah, very powerful. Dwayne?
Yeah,
what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, when they throw dirt in my face, I want them to know that, yeah, I loved them, gave them everything I could, did the best that I could with them. And then I just want them to, hold themselves morally and, just take the things that they've learned and basically stand on my shoulders and do a billion times better than I ever could dream. That's my thing. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of parents, they get jealous that, we were talking about the living through your kids in a negative way. Like, you were a fourth string quarterback and then you're going to push your kid to do this. I want them to be the best kids they can be. But really, I want them to, start where I ended and then just kick ass through their life and then, share the stories and become good parents on their own when it's time. That's my dream. If that works, then my time on the earth has been well done. Good time spent.
I've always said that being a man is a tough thing because we are always in competition. You're always trying to push. You're always trying to climb that hill. And, men are in competition with each other. But the only man on this planet who truly wants you to be better than him is your father. So, for all the fathers out there, thank you. Thank you for all you do. And if you don't get a chance of hearing it from your kids, just know, I don't know if that's a plane or a fast car, but whatever. For all you guys out there who are dads doing the best you can, hang in there. Thank you for all you do. You are valuable, you are needed, and you're needed and valued more than just what you can provide this way. From all the stats that Dwayne and I show and all the times that Dwayne and I talk and teach, hopefully that proves that you will make a profound impact way beyond what you can bring home as far as bacon. To my guests, Esteban and Jason, again, thank you so much for joining us on today's big show. Really appreciate your guys' commentary and your thoughts. And to close out the show, let's go ahead and go to final thoughts. So what we saw today is we saw that these stories really do remind us of a love of the Father and how it goes beyond words. It's found in the quiet moments and the small gestures and the times where they show up for us, even when we don't realize that we need our fathers. And fathers leave an unsurmountable mark on our lives in a way that shapes us on who we are and how we see the world and how we love them in return. And while society sometimes overlooks the roles of fathers, the stories that we've heard from Jason and Esteban and Dwayne prove just how deep their influence runs. And whether it's through a late night driving lesson or a worn out baseball glove or, taking time to throw the mitts on and teach them karate or whatever the case may be, the love of a father is absolutely a lasting, powerful, and it's profound. And today we saw how being a father contributes to a child's well-being. So if you're a dad, just know this, your impact is immeasurable. And the little things that you do every day to shape your children's lives into the people that they'll become is very important. That being said, that's all for today's episode. If you guys have a story about your father that you'd like to share, feel free to reach out to us on our website and social media. And remember, keep being the superhero that your kids already think that you are. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week on another episode of The Big Show. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.